I doing to myself? Why am I doing all this? What purpose does this serve? So what's that, like, whole exchanging of vows thing people do? Can anyone remind me?
Can you just tell me you forgive me so I can move on with my life?
I got a membership at the gym he goes to. You're just stalking your ex. Hardcore. Stalking this man. Leave him alone. What? She's attractive, but not in an Instagram model type, if you get what I mean. And if I don't... So hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Layla. And have you ever been in a relationship? Why aren't you answering? So today's video is all about unhealthy Reddit relationship stories, because there's a lot. We've done this a couple times before, and all of these are going to be unhealthy. So if you're in a relationship, maybe you'll feel better about your partner at the end of all this. Everyone of all shapes and sizes is welcome here. Single, in a relationship, married, divorced, I don't care, I don't discriminate, welcome in. So in case you're new here and you're like, who are you? Why is your hair so big and fabulous? And why do you look like that? I'm not going to answer those questions, but what I will tell you is that my main go-to for crazy toxic Reddit stories is actually this page on Instagram called Toxic Reddit. Toxic Reddit is a page that curates some of the most toxic stories from across various subreddits. So if you're into like those toxic, what the freak am I reading kind of stories, they have a lot. They're my main go-to, they're my favorite page. Toxic Reddit is everything to me. And if you want to go give them a follow, they will be linked down below. So yeah, the weather's a-changin'. The month is May. At the point in time I'm filming this, it's like the first few days of May. What today? It's May 4th. So I'm filming this literally at the very beginning. The weather's changing, things are getting warmer, the sun's staying up longer, and I don't enjoy it because it means no more sweater weather. So I hope everyone's staying cool, or conversely, staying warm. And I hope you're all just having a great May so far. So everyone, grab your snacks, settle on in, cozy on up, and let's just dive right in with their first post. How do I, 28 male, get my ex-girlfriend, 27 female, to forgive me for my past cheating? I don't want to get back together.
Are you sure about that?
Hey everyone. 4 years ago, I made a very selfish choices that hurt my ex-girlfriend. We were together for 2 years, but at the time, I didn't fully appreciate her. She was a great girlfriend. Stunning, caring, attentive, etc. Her best friend was extremely attentive also. I think we know where this one is headed. I would say more so. To put it in perspective, her best friend has over 20,000 Instagram followers because of her looks, and my girlfriend at the time didn't have much of a social media following. She's attractive, but not in an Instagram model type, if you get what I mean. And if I don't? When I met my girlfriend, I approached her, and not her friend, because I was intimidated by her friend, but always wanted the friend. When I first met her, it was a lounge, and I shot my shot because she was the second hottest person in the group. Well, I got the opportunity to be with her best friend, and I took the opportunity. I convinced myself it was love, but it wasn't. When she found out, she was devastated. She blocked both of us. The relationship with the other woman didn't work out, and she was using me like I was her damn piggy bank, but would cheat. After that, I dated another woman just like her, and realized this is my karma. I'm blocked, but I seen her because just my luck, she moved in the same apartment complex with her boyfriend. I used my alt account to see her Instagram and can see she has a great boyfriend who seems to spoil her. She deserves it. I've had one conversation with him, just small talk about sports to gauge him, and he seems like a good dude. She unfortunately would try to be very intentional in not even looking at me. I don't know if she told him I'm her ex, but he doesn't seem to know. I got the courage to tell her that I apologized and ask I got the courage to tell her that I apologize and I ask for her forgiveness. So when I saw her today, it looked like she had just got back from the gym and trying to avoid me, but I spoke. I said, hey, and she glared at me. I said, you look nice, and she said, what do you want? I told her, it looks like you have a great boyfriend, and she replied, the best, in a very cold way. I told her that I just wanted to apologize for everything and that I'm glad she's doing well. She said, I'm doing great. Again, in a very stern and direct way. I told her that her forgiveness would mean a lot to me, and she said no and walked away. Sorry, I'm not laughing. This really hurt me. I don't cry often, but when I entered my apartment, I cried. I want to make this right because not only is it the right thing to do, but I genuinely feel my dating life has been cursed by the universe because of what I did to her. All aspects of my life are great, except my dating life. Move on, buddy. Jeez, Lou. She doesn't give a freak about you. You're a nobody to her. I get that I'm a nobody to her, but it would really help me if she could say, I moved on with my life and I forgive you. Yeah, she doesn't owe you anything. Leave her alone, you desperate creep. She doesn't owe you anything. This isn't about you. You are not the wronged party. You just want her to forgive you for you, not her. You have to live with your behavior. Actions have consequences. Live with yours. Leave her alone. That's the best thing you could do for her. The two people she cared about betrayed her. Gross. I'm going to let it go because that's the consensus, but I do want her to forgive me for herself too. I think she could learn to embrace her current life, the great partner she has, and forgive me. That doesn't mean forget what happened. It would benefit her as well. Okay, wow. That story was written very confusingly, and I'm gonna give this person the benefit of the doubt. Maybe English isn't their first language, so we're not gonna mock them for that, but that story was incredibly hard to understand, because at first I wasn't sure, like, which ex he specifically was talking about. So basically, his ex-girlfriend, the good one, not the model, is betrayed, as that commenter said, by two of her closest people in her circle, in her life, right? This was her best friend. Right, this was her best friend that he was always attracted to. I have no idea what her having that many followers has anything to do with this, because followers doesn't mean you're attractive. I'm sorry, it doesn't. So I don't get why that detail was mentioned, other than, I guess she's so pretty, she has 20,000 followers? I don't know. And she was the one he wanted first. And so he went for the second hottest person in the group. Another kind of weirdly, like, degrading, detail in this entire post. Then he kind of glosses over how, like, the cheating aspect of this all happened. He just says he got the opportunity to be with her best friend and took it. And then his first girlfriend ended up blocking both of them, and then he got with the other woman, and then she wasn't such a good person. I'm beyond shocked at that. And things did not pan out in his favor. And now he feels like he needs his ex's forgiveness because karma, the universe, something like this. I don't really know what's motivating this guy to try and earn his ex-girlfriend's forgiveness, especially when she's moved on with her life. She's with someone else, and she seems relatively satisfied. And I don't understand why he feels like he needs her forgiveness to move on. The universe is not holding you back, guy. I think it's you. The common denominator in all your relationships when something is constantly going awry and wrong, what do you think it would be? Any guesses? Yeah, it's correct. It's you. You're the problem. I don't know what it is with people just sleeping with other people's boyfriends, but like, yikes. Disloyal friend. Boo on you. You're not a girl's girl. You're going to hell. Just two very icky individuals throughout this whole story. I would say that it low-key comes across like harassment to confront her and be like,
Can you just tell me you forgive me so I can move on with my life?
anyways, on to the next one. How long do breaks last? So my girlfriend, female 22, and I, male 23, are on a break. It's very confusing. We lived together for almost 3 to 4 years, and we took a break recently because of the things I've done in the past, which include getting caught looking at girls online, talking to an ex, paying for an video from a girl we used to go to. What? Yes, I know, I'm a terrible guy. That was all in the span of maybe 2 to 3 years. I moved out a couple months ago, and this is the first time we have ever went on a break followed by days without communicating, which is understandable. I would like to know from people that went through a similar situation, what was your experience? How long did it take? And how did it work out? We still talk and hang out when I'm home. But since I work a 21-day on and 21-day off rotation, the very small communication we have still bugs me. I'm trying to figure out that schedule. That's a crazy schedule. Number 2. I moved out and signed a 6-month lease because we agreed that this break was only temporary. So someone asked for more information and says, what does this mean? I found an old classmate's messaged her and bought a video from her. Dude, when I did it, I didn't know. Now I know, mate. Yikes. If I were a girl, I wouldn't have put up with this. About the main issue. To be honest, I don't believe in breaks. You're either dating each other or not. If you two had a fight, meet her and talk things through. Stop freaking things up, and hopefully you two will build a better relationship from now on. She ain't gonna be your girlfriend ever again. Breaks last forever, usually. To any girl out there, or guy, who's watching this and is with someone who's ever cheated on them, get out. Get out immediately. So not only was he looking at girls online, which I don't really know what that means. Like, that's not... Are you watching adult videos? Are you watching cam girls? Are you paying for these people? Like, there's so many details just from that alone I don't know. He's talking to an ex. Which if you're talking to an ex, I wouldn't say that's necessarily cheating, but if we're reading between the lines with this guy... and paying for an OnlyFans video from a girl they used to know, an old classmate. So not only did he message her, he bought a video from her, which in my mind would be cheating. Maybe you disagree, that's not the point. This guy has issues. Maybe I'm reading too deep, maybe I'm just too wounded of a person, maybe I'm projecting my trauma. But if I'm reading between the lines, this does sound like cheating to me, per my standards, per my morals, per my regulations. I don't know why they're on a break, because this happened over the span of maybe 2 to 3 years, and then he moved down a couple months ago. And this is the first time they've ever been on a break, followed by days without communication. I think that they probably need to just call it quits at this point. This is not the type of person I would ever feel comfortable dating or feel safe with, because the thing is actually really icky and really bothersome. To buy some adult content, shall we keep this PG? To buy adult content from someone you personally know, it sounds like both of them personally know her, from a girl we used to go to, so I don't really know what that means, but it sounds like it's someone they both know. I don't know what his girlfriend's boundaries are, but to me that would be crossing such a major line that would be the end of the relationship. And if you're on a break, you gotta ask yourself, why are we on a break? And this doesn't sound like their first break either. Because it says, this is the first time we ever went on a break followed by days without communicating. It doesn't say, this is the first time we've ever been on a break. This is the first time we've been on a break without communication for days on end. So that kind of in and of itself is telling, if you have to keep taking breaks from someone you're dating, it might be time to make an Irish goodbye. I just don't think relationships like this realistically have a chance of working out or being healthy. And I think for the sake of both of them, you know, if you want to be a weird dude on your own time, go ahead and do that. When you're single, Godspeed. Have fun, buddy. There's a helicopter outside. Fly inside. I just don't think you should be doing this kind of stuff while you're in a relationship. But again, that's my opinion. Don't hurt me for having my own opinion. Yeah, so that's my take. That's just my vibe, that's my thoughts. Anyways, on to the next one. How do I, 25 female, repair my relationship with my boyfriend, 25 male, and his family after what I suggested to his sister, 19 female? So I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend, who we'll call G, for about 2 years.
I like your cut, G.
He has 3 younger siblings, M, 23 male, A, 21 male, and T, 19 female. I'm going to lose track of all of these people so quickly. All of them are still in college and still live at home with their mom, 55 female, and dad, 55 male. I'm sorry, but these ages are like low-key satisfying. While my boyfriend and I rent an apartment. This summer they will be celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary in France. That would be sick, dude. Where they had their wedding. Oh, that's even more sick. Okay.
Freaking idiot.
Okay. They plan on getting first-class tickets, a high-end hotel, etc. One night, G and I were supposed to have dinner with his family. While we were at their house, T mentioned how excited she was for the summer and all the things they plan to do in France. As this is an anniversary trip for her parents, I suggested to T she could do her parents a solid and maybe stay back home and out of their hair to give her parents time away from their kids this summer. Or she could maybe pay her own way so her parents could save money. T asked me why she'd give up a trip to France, and I told her it would be a nice gesture for her parents' anniversary. I kept trying to tell her how nice it would be and how her parents would probably thank her for giving them space. At some point, M interrupted us and told me to stop meddling in family affairs, that I was overstepping, and to either apologize for pressuring T or to leave the house. Good job, M.
Yes, let's applaud M.
I told him I didn't mean to make anyone upset, but when their dad came into the room and asked what was wrong, they told him everything. He then asked me to leave his house and said I probably shouldn't come back anytime soon because I was overstepping, and he found it rude that I was making up a problem and pressuring T to solve it. Me and G went back to our apartment and we haven't been speaking. Where do I go from here? Edit for more info. Info! The others are invited, but they're older, so I assume they can just go do their own thing. Info! I'm not obsessed with their financial situation. I just think it's important that T starts making money on her own so she can value it more. She's used to getting her hair, nails, and sometimes makeup done and paid for. Not to mention how much products she buys for her hair and sanitary products. It'll hit her hard how much this stuff costs when she's older, so why not start learning that now? Not sure why you press the topic so much. You assume the parents want the time alone, but seems like they don't. You try too hard to make your point valid. I can't imagine dating someone and then telling someone else's sibling, like, you shouldn't go. Hey, you should leave your parents alone. You're annoying. So they're going to France for their wedding anniversary, and that just sounds sick as hell. I would never pass up something like that. So just kind of seems like out of the blue, the original poster is like, do your parents a solid and stay home, and out of their hair to give your parents time away from their kids this summer. So every other child is going to be there, it sounds like. The others are all invited, and they're older, so I assume they can just do their own thing. I'm not sure how a 19-year-old is not considered old enough to go and do her own thing. Like, if the parents want to be left alone while they're in France, all the siblings can go out and find stuff to do. Like, it's not that difficult to go find something to do when you're in a completely different country from where you normally live. Like, I don't know anything about these people's financial situation. Some people really enjoy having their entire family with them when they're celebrating stuff, and I get the feeling that's the kind of family this is, since everyone is invited. I don't know why it's a problem for the original poster that T gets her hair, nails, and makeup done and paid for, because at the end of the day, it's not your business how someone else's family does things. Would my parents ever do this? No! Maybe the original poster's parents wouldn't ever be like this, so seeing a family with this standard is like, it's none of your business. I don't know why you care so much. Like, this has nothing to do with you. This does not affect you. This does not change your life. This has nothing to do with you. And I do see it as, like, meddling. I don't know. I just find this person really weird. Like, I just don't get why you care. They got first-class tickets and a high-end hotel, which kind of tells me that these people must be financially well off, because your average person could not go and plan an anniversary trip in France, get first-class tickets, and a high-end hotel. I just think you need to step back and ask yourself why it bothers you so much, because this ain't got nothing to do with you. Anyways, on to the next one. I've done everything I can to break up my ex's marriage. I probably sound like an a-hole, but I don't even care. I was with my ex for a year, and he broke up with me. 3 months later, he started going out with some other girl, and now, 3 years since, they're married with a kid. I have no clue what he sees in her. Like, she's not his usual type. She's a bit chubby, if anything. She worked a mediocre job, and I could say some more things. In short, he can do so much better than her. I've been wanting to talk to him for so long, and I saw them at a restaurant, and I took my chance and just went over to their table. Immediately, he told me that she's his wife and told me to leave them alone. That was your first sign. I thought that after being together for a year and having no contact for so long, he would at least have a small conversation with me. Him denying me? That made me really angry. And I ended up telling his wife that she's nothing like his usual type, and she should watch out before I left. And she was clearly emotional at hearing that. After that, I was determined to get closer to him, and I applied and got a job in the same division of the company he works at, but on a different team, and 1 level lower, so I've seen him around the office a few times and tried to interact with him a little, and all it got me was a meeting with HR. I got a membership at the gym he goes to. You're just stalking your ex. Hardcore. Stalking this man. Leave him alone. I got a membership at the gym he goes to and figured out what time he goes each day, and I've been showing up at the same time and tried making conversation there, and still nothing. Gee, I wonder why. Any guesses? I've told him that he can do better, and I want us to give our relationship another shot, and when he pretends that I'm not even there, I'll just leave to avoid the embarrassment. I feel a little bad since his wife really comes off as a really shy and sweet person who loves him, but I really want to get him back, but I don't owe her anything at the gist of it. Does that sentence make sense? I'm blocked on all social media, and I tried reaching out through a burner phone number app, and no response to that either. It feels like I don't even exist to him. At the very least, he can give me one conversation. I mean, just a few years ago, he was in love with me. There is quite literally nothing his wife has that I don't, and I know I would be an amazing partner to him if he would just give me a chance. I'm so frustrated right now, I can't even process this. Just want to talk to someone about this, but I have no one who won't just cut me off if I do. That's your second sign. You're the a-hole, dude. You are a stalker. I'm assuming this is fake and rage bait, but if this isn't, please seek therapy. I know it's ridiculous, but I truly want him to be mine again. I know what I bring to the table, and it's a lot more than his wife does. I'm struggling with the fact that he can't even give me a conversation. This is obviously fake. No one can be this horrible of a person. Truly, it's baffling. I know I'm horrible, but after everything, am I not at least owed a single conversation to plead my case and tell him how I still feel? Let's change the title. I'm stalking my ex because I haven't moved past him for absolutely no reason, and I've become so obsessed with him that I'm trying to wreck every single aspect of his life. Fixed it for you. It don't matter. We're not gonna compare women. Okay, that's not a good thing to do. You could be the hottest, sexiest thing that's dropped this summer. But with your attitude and your insanity going on up in your head, you immediately become a 0 out of 10. I'm sorry if that's harsh, but you just sound insane. Now, is this probably rage bait? Almost definitely. Did I decide to read the story anyway? Yes. Yes, because there are people out there in the world like this. There are 100% people out there in the world like this who stalk their exes because they just can't get over them. I don't understand the hyperfixation on someone who has so clearly moved on, and he so massively dodged a bullet. The thing is, he has a kid. He's married. He's been married for a while. He clearly loves this woman because why else would he marry her? And you really, do you think these people at the end of the day look at themselves in the mirror and they realize, what am I doing to myself? Why am I doing all this? What purpose does this serve? I don't know if people like this have that kind of thought process, but it's just insanity. If you have an ex you can't get over and they've clearly moved on, do yourself a favor, save yourself the humiliation and embarrassment, and just move on. Leave them alone. Leave that man or woman alone. They don't want to be with you. Move on. Anyways, on to the next one, because this is genuinely insane. This is a long title. I did something petty to him, and he's taking it worse than I thought. I just want it to be like before. We had not even a fight. It was him, 34 male, complimenting the lunches his coworker's wife packs him, which I, 31 female, found disrespectful of him to talk to me about that. Why? He asked why it's disrespectful, but stopped, and we went to bed soon after. In the morning, while I was making breakfast and packing his lunch, I remembered the supposedly amazing lunches his coworker brings, and decided to be petty. I didn't even do it fully out of anger. It was also a bit jokey. I thought, this would teach him to appreciate my lunches more. I put a diaper in his lunchbox, and no, it wasn't full, it was a clean diaper that I balled up as if it was full. Well, it seems that I messed up majorly because he's extremely cold. First thing he asked me when he came back from work was, "Do you feel avenged? You satisfied now? Laugh, go on," and want to play with our daughter. He responds if I ask him something, but doesn't look at me, let alone touch me. This morning when I was making breakfast, I went to pack his lunch and he took it from me and told me he'd rather starve than take anything I made again. He's not responding to texts, like "have a good day" texts I usually send him, and I just feel very down. And I know it was petty, but isn't he taking it a bit too hard? Too long didn't read. Packed a diaper in my husband's lunch, and he's taking it worse than expected. What did he originally say to cause offensive to you? Do you understand why he's upset? Have you apologized? Nothing really. We were talking about lunches in general, and he brought up how beautiful his coworkers look, but also hard to eat because a lot of food in a bento box. I don't know! I just felt a bit weird about him complimenting another woman's cooking, and I think my postpartum hormones got the best of me. As much as what she has done was petty, if this was the reaction to a joke, the relationship wasn't good to begin with. I agree. Why was she so offended and upset by him simply complimenting his coworkers' lunches? That's the issue here. So, I think this is another case of we're either missing a lot of context, or your relationship is so rocky that doing something like this, although disrespectful, would put an end to your marriage. It's the type of thing I think I just don't understand. Maybe if we look at it from his perspective, he had no way of knowing if it was full, if it was clean, if it had been touched, like any of those things, and something like that would disgust me. Even if I had picked it up and found, oh, it's just a clean diaper, something like that would make me feel disgusting, because it's the thought of a used or dirty diaper in your lunch is like... All of this started because he talked about his coworkers' lunches. It's not disrespectful to talk about another woman's cooking. There are a lot of women out there who are amazing cooks. They can throw down in the kitchen.
What?
I'm not one of them, but there are a lot of women who are just amazing cooks. And I understand, like, maybe the postpartum hormones and all that, that kind of makes sense, but that doesn't give you a pass to say and do whatever you want. It gives a reason for why you feel the way you feel, but it doesn't give you a pass to say and do whatever you want to your husband. Point blank, you felt disrespected because he mentioned someone else's cooking. Kinda weird, don't get that personally. And so, you responded in turn by pranking him, and he didn't like it. And now it's turned into this huge, stupid, dumb situation where they're both annoyed at each other, and I don't know how this ended up. Whenever I look at the post, there's never an update. I want to say update soon. I think it's more so just feeling disrespected is kind of where he's coming from, and all this because he mentioned another woman's cooking. That's not a normal reaction. I don't know. Looking at this as an outsider, I'm like, what the hell's going on? I have never even thought that's the type of thing people get offended at. Do you get offended at if someone mentions someone else's cooking and how good it is? Like, if someone comparing my cooking to theirs, sure, but just saying this food looks really nice? What's your problem? Those are some of my thoughts. You tell me what you think, because this one's genuinely insane. Anyways, on to the next one. So this one's a little NSFW, but we're gonna keep it, you know, pure as we can. This one was too funny to not include, and also, I want to. Today I effed up by becoming an accidental star and my wife finding out. I'm an American guy who lives in Tokyo doing hotel development. My wife is Japanese American and runs a translation business. My job requires me to travel a lot, including to Bangkok every couple months. As many of you know, Thailand is well known for prostitution. While my wife and I have a great relationship, I can't go more than a couple weeks without, so I do engage in it. In Thailand, there's this one beer bar I like, with a great atmosphere, tons of attractive bar girls, and affordable prices. Ew, I'm icked out already! I'm icked out! Oh. I've been there maybe 20 or 25 times, having there each time. It's 1,000 baht for the girl short time, plus 500 baht bar fine, and 500 baht for a room. So 2,000 baht, about $60 USD all in. That is extremely cheap. Well, a couple weeks ago, I learned that they have cameras in the room, and a lot of ladies record their encounters and sell them online or stream on. I learned I'm in a few of these videos. Here's where the today I effed up comes in. I contact the lady asking her to take it down, and she proceeds to dox and blackmail me. I should have just let it be and hoped no one ever found out. I refused to pay her blackmail and just blocked her. Well, yesterday she contacted my wife on Facebook and told her. My wife is currently not talking to me. Too long didn't read, accidentally became a star, wife found out, and now she might leave me. Kind of your own fault, isn't it? I'm the victim! It's the fault of the one doing something illegal. You're the victim of blackmail, correct. Your wife is a victim of a cheating POS husband, hence why she isn't talking to you, good luck. Big balls to post this online, but geez, dude. Honestly, at this point, what else can go wrong? Your wife sees where you said you're the victim, and then 100% dumps your sorry ass that apparently is only sorry for getting caught. Your fault, bro. You're literally cheating on your wife, aren't you? $60 doesn't buy discretion? I'm shocked. It's the standard going rate. Walk down Soy 6 in Padia, and you'll find anywhere between 500 to 2,500 women charging that rate on one street. Although inflation is hitting, and some ladies are starting to charge 1,500 instead of 1,000 now. So here's the situation. You cheat on your wife with prostitutes of all things, because you just can't go a few weeks without the boom boom, and you get yourself into this awful sticky situation. Here's the thing, I'm not gonna say that getting blackmailed and doxxed and your wife finding out the way she did is like, ha ha ha, that's so funny, because that does suck. But I don't have a lot of empathy for someone who put themselves in this situation when it was completely avoidable. He cheated on his wife, and he cheated on her in a pretty terrible way. And not only that, he's admitted to cheating on her many times now. And there's just something about this industry, the way people talk about it, it just gives me the ick. It's insane that this got recorded on. I think in the US that would be considered illegal. I don't know about the laws there, but it's a nasty situation. And the thing is, you don't have to go and cheat on your wife just because you're traveling for a few weeks. That's what it boils down to. You don't have to do that. Okay? You have complete freedom to not do that and to not find yourself in a situation like this. Because if you didn't cheat on your wife, none of this would happen. This is the result of consequences, unfortunately, because if you do something immoral and wrong, it's gonna catch up with you eventually. It's like that line from Doctor Strange, the bill always comes due. And it's true, the bill always does come due. No matter what happens, it will eventually catch up with you, and you will eventually be found out and caught. And I cannot emphasize this enough, that it's just the original poster really icked me out. I'm sorry. I know people are like, you gotta be more respectful. But some people don't deserve your respect. Some people don't deserve your empathy. This is just genuinely an insane situation all around, but I'm sorry to say you get what you deserve. You reap what you sow, right? You do something dumb, consequences will eventually catch up to you. And it's really sad that this is such an industry there, you know? And I hope his wife did end up leaving him, because you know what? Ain't no way! You could not. Even if you gave me $800 million making me stay with someone like that, I would leave. I'd get out. No. So we're gonna do one last final one for the night, because my throat hurts again. I don't know why this happens!
Probably all the yelling you do.
You know what? Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do one last one for the night, and we're gonna call it there. 38 male, married her. 30 female, and her life is so hard. I'm regretting it. We got married in May. Her mom's health started declining, breast cancer. So my wife has now taken a leave off work and is trying to help her mom. She's with her nearly 24/7 and has given her mom everything. All her time and attention, as her mother is now dying at her childhood home. My wife obviously loves her mother a lot and has put me completely on the back burner. She's extremely stressed, overwhelmed, and exhausted. She is also very kind and helps her mother so much. Her mother is also very young compared to my parents, who are both well and in their 70s. At times, I know I come across insensitive. She expects my help because I am her husband. She wants to be made a priority and for me to be there for her during the hardest time of her life. She said being selfless should come easy to me if I love her. I'm struggling as it is only her life that is hard. She's picking up on this and it makes her feel even worse. Maybe I'm not cut out to be someone's husband. We are barely able to do anything. Her life is so much different than any of my friends' lives. I constantly compare her life to theirs. They're living their life, traveling, having children. It just seems so easy. And then I see how hard and sad my wife's life has become. I've missed out on so many social outings because I feel bad or guilty if I go. I know it could have happened to me or anyone, but if I knew how hard her life would have turned, I don't think I would have married her. I was curious how long you dated before marriage and why did you marry her? 2.5 years. Because I love her. If you loved her, you'd be less concerned about missing out on fun things and more concerned about what she's going through. Her mom is going to die. This situation is temporary. You are no good for your wife, and she'd probably end up better off if you did just leave her. Wow, her mom will die and she will no longer be a caregiver and will get back to her own life. This is temporary. When you're married, you are there through thick and thin. Just be supportive and deal with it. It's not forever, and that is when she will probably leave me. You kind of have it coming, so... There are stuff. So what's that, like, whole exchanging of vows thing people do? Can anyone remind me? I know that stuff like this gotta suck, okay? Being in a stressful, sad situation, ain't nobody gonna be like, yeah, that's totally fine. I don't know how long they've actually been married for, but, we're just gonna assume that they're newlyweds because I don't have the timeline. This is an older post. And I'm gonna be honest, it would suck to marry someone and then right away you're thrown into this awful situation. They're losing their parent, someone that is near and dear to them, someone they love, and they have to take care of them round the clock because end-of-life care is very involved. But as people have said, this situation is temporary. Her mother is dying, her mother's going to be dead. And I'm sorry if that's a bit brutal to say out loud, but her mother's going to die, right? One way or the other, this situation is temporary. But he is so self-focused during all this. If you marry someone and then their parent starts dying, that would be the point in which you step up and help, and you carry the burden, and you pick up the load, and you become the partner that they need while this thing is happening. I would understand the stress of this if this was like, it's gonna be the next 40 years of our life. What I cannot empathize with this guy in this story is just his total lack of care and love towards his wife, who is going through possibly one of the worst things in life you can go through, losing your parent, especially to cancer. He said that her mother is young, which makes this even sadder. It's the total lack of understanding and empathy and care towards his new wife as she's going through something really devastating, right? Something really tragic and something that's going to impact her life in a tremendous way. If you truly love someone, you will be there to support them and lift them and hold them up during the worst and roughest times of your lives. Because when you marry someone, your lives can join, right? When you're with someone and you marry them, your lives become one. So her life is not separate from your own. Sure, this isn't your mother, but this is your wife's mother, someone who really matters to her. And I just can't understand not wanting to step up and just be there as best you can until the situation changes. This guy just sounds like he really wasn't meant to be a husband or really anyone's partner, because at some point in life, bad things are gonna happen, right? Death is inevitable. Awful things happening are inevitable. And so it doesn't matter who you're with, stuff is gonna happen eventually. And so if you are not the type of person who can support your partner during the lowest points of their life, then why should you have access to someone during the best points of their life, right? Like, that's kind of a big part of marriage, is supporting your spouse. And that can look like a variety of things, financially, emotionally, mentally, health-wise. Sometimes people, you marry them, they're fine, and they end up sick later. What's the point of marrying someone if you have no intention of being there for them? That's just crazy. These are some of the most unhealthy relationships I think I've read to date on this channel. So yeah, I'm done yapping now. So that's where we're gonna cut it off. That was a lot of stories. I think that's more than I usually do. People are absolutely insane, and some people should not be in relationships, and I'm not sorry for saying it, okay? Some people do not deserve their partner. As I said, Toxic Reddit is my go-to, so if you want to go check them out, they will be linked down below. And if you want to keep hanging out with me and you're like, I need more of you in my life now, I will link down to my Reddit playlist and my Am I the A-Hole playlist if you just want to hear some of those crazy stories. There's a lot of stories to check out on this channel. The entirety of all these posts will be linked down below as well, unless they've been deleted, which is always sad to see. How's everyone feeling? Let's do a mental health check-in. You're not responding. Yeah, I'm not feeling good after those. So, thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you all here next time.